my thought process when I started it was, the question is like, are you going like direct to consumer or B2B, like business to business? And B2B for me would be marketing to real estate agents because I'm really good at what I do. And if you give your client to a crappy lender, that's going to cost you a deal. I was like, oh, maybe now would be a good time to make a video about impound accounts, which is like a terribly boring topic. But I just made a joke and I was like, hey, coming from a beautiful location in San Diego County to talk about something really boring, I'm going to explain to you guys impound accounts. And I kind of like thought that would be a fun series just to like have a really cool, beautiful background and talk about something that's like kind of monotonous, which is kind of nice, because sometimes you just want to get like facts across and like, what the facts are. But when you're talking in front of a camera, it's really easy to forget them because you're trying to be concise and like get it in 30 seconds or 40 seconds. And so unless it's something that very, 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 very well. Totally.
Hello, I'm Dustin PolyInnovator. Today I'm talking with Amanda Silber, who is a content creator and sales manager at Movement Mortgage. Thank you for joining me on the Poly Tools Creator Spotlight.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
It's one of those things where sometimes I'll find people online and they always kind of have some interesting background. And that's how I found you. I saw some of your short form content and I was like, this person seems interesting. Whether you make it yourself or you edit it someone else, we could talk about that. And I just was curious about your journey. So I guess the best way to get started is ask what got you started as a content creator?
So I mean, a lot of my job is education, right? I mean, I'm a mortgage originator. I'm here to help people build wealth through home ownership and understanding how to like borrow responsibly. And for years, like probably over the last like 5 or 6 years, I've been like, I need to create classes and like, I need to do these videos. And, you always like put it off because it seems so overwhelming and like daunting. And, obviously like social media has blown up even more over time. And I just like could not like ignore it anymore.
Yeah.
And so I ended up finding something called Forward Academy. Are you familiar with Neil Dingra at all?
I think so. It sounds familiar, but I haven't really checked it out much myself.
Totally. All good. I mean, in our world, people know because he does a lot with like, he helps people build content that are in like the real estate world, mortgage lending, that type of thing. And so what I loved about Neil was he was a mortgage originator. And so, his story realistically was just like, I was really horrible on camera. And like, he like shared his before videos and they're pretty bad. But he was like very authentic. And he essentially just like created like this masterclass of like, here's where you start. Because at the end of the day, like people just become overwhelmed with like all the things you could possibly do. And sometimes like someone like me, I just need like a little bit of direction. And so since I wasn't getting that at my company or like mentors or someone around me, I just connected with him and signed up for his class. And what I loved about it was just very simple, very like, here's where you start. Here's how you shoot a video. I mean, obviously I knew how to do a lot of that. A lot of people don't, but it really just kind of like honed in on like, all right, but when you're shooting it, make sure you're keeping it 45 seconds or less. Make sure you start with a hook, like just the little things that are going to like help people like want to watch your video and like stay connected with it. So I definitely have to give credit where credit is due, but Forward Academy really kind of helped me launch creating. For sure.
Well, it's interesting too, because the way you go about explaining it there makes me think, okay, cool. You start out with short form video, the 45-second thing. Like sometimes people go 30 to 60 seconds, really depends on your niche and your field. But really like those, like you said, those small details, you just needed to know what you needed to do just to get started.
Yeah. Just to start, like I'm good with like homework. You know what I mean? Like I'm a 100% commission person. So like I pretty much run a business completely on my own. And so I'm very self-motivated in a lot of ways. But when it's like something like right outside of like my normal scope, I'm like, okay, I don't want to like reinvent the wheel here. You know what I mean? Who can I go to that's just going to like tell me how to like shortcut it a little bit? There's no like, nothing's going to like do it for you overnight. You've got to be consistent, but it's also nice to like surround yourself with like-minded individuals who are going to help push you a little bit more.
There's no shortcut, but you need to know where to start. I teach swimming, for example, and sometimes when a new student comes in, sometimes they might physically be able to do stuff, but they have no knowledge of what to do at all. So it's literally just information dumping. And I think that's kind of the case for you, where you just needed the information and you could execute on your own. Other people need a little bit more guiding hand. Other people might need to have a little bit of both. And it's just interesting to think about as a learner of the content creation.
Absolutely. Totally. And I mean, for anyone who is looking to build content, I highly recommend the Forward Academy. It's great. He's got like an event in Vegas every year that they do a conference. So you can just come and like watch people. Like this year we had surprise guest, Cody Gibson.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was there, which was like, I was very excited about.
Yeah.
and
Did you
we
get to meet
had
her?
a bunch of people. I did actually for a brief second. Like it wasn't like a meet and greet situation. She was like on her way out, but I'm like, I
Mhm.
love you. Like I just wanted to say thank you for being here. And I'm never like that. It's
Mhm.
like, you never want to be like, oh my God, to anybody realistically, no matter how cool you think they are. But I definitely fangirled for sure. And
Yeah.
she was super kind. She's like, can you get a picture? I was like, yeah, I do. So she was there, and that was probably my favorite highlight. Last year we had like Alex Ramosi showed up. We had Gary Vee,
Mhm.
Jamie Lynn Kern, like just a lot of like amazing like motivational speakers or just people telling their story, but also just talking about content, how to build your personal brand. It's an amazing event. I highly recommend for anybody. You don't have to be in my industry to go and enjoy that. Realistically, like those events are just about understanding personal branding and how to like really grow. And my favorite speaker, Chris Doe.
Mhm.
I don't know if you know who that is.
That's how
Okay,
I
I
found you, is
love
through
Chris.
that short form video.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I did like a little quick Q&A with him, which is, of course, by far was like my best performing video of all time.
Right.
But because he collaborated with me on it, which was really kind. But Chris is genuinely like one of those like down to earth people, super kind, genuine, just, and he's like everything that I want to kind of like embody. And he's
Yeah.
very approachable, which is nice. So yeah, that event like gives you that opportunity to kind of like interface with people like that operate on a much higher level. And I love it. But beyond like just the event itself, they have a mastermind group that I'm a part of, and so that gives me a lot more opportunity to like interface with those types of people as well.
And you said you're good at homework too, so maybe just the way your brain works has like having that kind of coaching environment, the mastermind environment is just beneficial for you
Yeah.
personally, and other people who are like you might also, they might not have thought about that as an opportunity. So because you're saying this now, they can think about it, the ones watching in.
You never want to be the smartest person in the room, right? You
Yeah.
want to be able to surround yourself with people who are like better than at things than you are. You're never going to grow if you're the smartest person in the room. And being part of that mastermind group has allowed me to learn from other people who think like I do, but like realistically have grown beyond what I've been able to accomplish within my career, but also in this case, like a little bit more focused on like personal branding as well. So it's great. It's a good community.
Why do you think I have these interviews?
Yeah, I know for sure. I know it's smart. I love it. It's funny because it's like one of those things that is like on the list of like things to execute, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, first personal branding, social media, start there, right? And then some of the things that we've been trying to like introduce a little bit more, just like within the group that he's been pushing us for, is hosting more webinars. So I just shot a video yesterday to like announce a webinar that I haven't posted yet, but a lot of my focus is to like connect with agents and educate them and help offer whatever I can to like be a resource for them so that I can gain referrals from them as well, but also just long form videos, which I haven't really tapped into,
Yeah.
and of course podcasts, you know what I mean, like getting to know other people and kind of expanding your brain a little bit.
So that's actually one of the next questions I usually ask is like, okay, you have like written, audio, and video. Which one's your favorite to make? Kind of at this point, you've mainly only have made the video content, but have you dabbled into written content? Eventually, you'll do the podcasting stuff. But what's your experience like?
I'm not opposed to written. I think it's hard to be inspired sometimes for me in that way. It's easier for me to talk. Like, a lot of people are more visual learners than like book learners, right?
Yeah.
A more visual learner. And so that's why I kind of like, I'm attracted more to video. But a lot of people have a lot of success with written form too. And so I think also with like AI and like ChatGPT and all that stuff, a lot of written form is really just a computer speaking for you anyway. And in my mind, I think what I would probably do is if I was to do written form, I would likely start with that just to feel inspired, get some ideas, but then just completely rewrite it in all my own speak. It's authentic.
Not just AI. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, like I overthink things. And so video is easier because I can just regurgitate what's at the top of my head. And even if it's not perfect, I just post it. Like I did a content day yesterday I have a videographer and a social media person who assists me with like editing videos, posting videos. And I had so many ideas. And she was like, oh my God, I've never had someone show up with like so much prep work. And I'm like, this is our third time doing this. Like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Like, let's
You're
get as
like, you
much
got
out of this day as we can. And a lot of the videos were like proof videos, like numbers or, things about my industry. And we did like a couple personal ones. And I'm like, okay, it's harder for me to shoot the proof videos. I call them proof videos, like with the numbers and stuff on my own. It's easier for me to shoot like the personal ones on my own. So like my homework to myself is to like try to do some of my own videos as well, kind of like trickle it in there, make my page a little bit more approachable.
Mhm.
When everything's like polished, it's a little harder for people to want to reach out to you. I think my authenticity comes through, but
It's still
you
good
know,
enough. Yeah.
there's something on your own cell phone is also fine.
Yeah, I think YouTube's also kind of pushing more raw content out anyways right now. But like you were saying earlier with the forward, is that there's a lot of small details like the framing of the camera, making sure you are actually in the middle of the frame or looking at the camera, those small details like that, or even being mindful of saying during calls or videos. Like when I first started, I would get nervous, and so I would say a lot, and so I always try to like make sure that when I'm recording, those small details kind of come through, and that way you are still being authentic, but you can still have those skills. That's what I was going for.
No, absolutely. And a lot of the things were beginning of the classes that I was taking with them, they would give us like examples of like, here's a video with bad lighting, here's a video with good lighting. See the difference? We're like, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. And sound, right? They're like, if you're shooting like a head video right here and your iPhone's right there, the sound's gonna be fine. But like if you're, setting it up on a tripod and talking away, like you definitely need a mic, right? And so even sometimes there's a couple videos that I shot where like the mic died and we used it anyway. And I was like, all right, well, the content's still good, but it sounds like shit. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like that video is not going to perform as well. But I'm also not worried about it not performing. You know what I mean? Like you just need to be consistent and post something too.
Sometimes you can also save the audio by just like cutting it out, putting it in Adobe Podcast and re-putting it back in too, which is nice.
For sure. And I'm all about like simplicity so that I don't not do it.
Yeah.
Right. Because if I try to like make it perfect, I'm just going to continue to like go back and try to like figure it out. And then I'm just like, this isn't worth my time. I'm just going to post it.
And one thing I like about doing this interview with you today, Amanda, is that you're on that rise right now too. Like I know that you're going to do a lot more in the future. And so I think that like there's this kind of beautiful moment where I get to see the way you're thinking right now as you're learning and as you're putting it into practice. And then we can talk down the line again once you've done a whole bunch more, like 1,000 videos more, and you can kind of compare and contrast the journey.
Yeah, no, I would love that. Yeah, I definitely am like, I don't have a ton of followers. I don't have like a ton of views. You know what I mean? Like I would say on average, like my videos perform, I don't know, 1,000 to 2,000 views, maybe, there's a couple like 300 views in there too. You know what I mean? Like not everything's doing well.
Still better than a lot of mine.
What's that?
I said still better than a lot of mine.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you got to find like your niche a little bit. Right. And so like a lot of mine is just, I think it's mostly realtors, and like my thought process when I started it was, the question is like, are you going like direct to consumer or B2B, like business to business? And B2B for me would be marketing to real estate agents because I'm really good at what I do. And if you give your client to a crappy lender, that's going to cost you a deal, whether they don't pre-approve them for what they need, or they're not educating them, or they're just not holding their hand through the process because it's really confusing. There's a lot of things to consider. Or they are representing them, they get them into escrow, and then they just didn't set their expectations well. They have a bad experience. I mean, there's so many factors. And I found I wanted to go direct to consumer. Like I wanted people to just come to me and I get them pre-approved and then I refer them to a real estate agent because that would be great. And in a perfect world, I would still love that to be the case. But what I have found is that the real estate agents that are watching my content see my value more and more. And they're either, maybe I'm getting some new relationships for sure, but I think the people that knew me already are giving me more opportunities with them too, which is great. And, they always say in my groups and in my mastermind, it's always about being as specific as possible, never be broad, right? Like, and I always had a hard time with that. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I want to like reach more people. And they're like, no. You want to reach like your target audience, like figuring out who your avatar is and only marketing to that crowd. Right. And so I still don't quite know who my avatar is. If I narrowed it down, I could probably say it's like, millennials who have not purchased a home yet, or move up buyers who have kids, and to me, like, I'm like, I don't want to like box myself into that because I still work with a lot of investors. I work with all types of people, single, old, young, whatever it is. But if you can focus on that niche on social, you will actually get more views and more interaction that way too.
One thing that came to mind too is that a lot of creators like Roberto Blake talk about making 100 posts and getting through that first 100 posts because you don't know what you did right, what you did wrong until you've done those 100 reps. And even then, you're only going to start really making good progress after that first 100 reps. But I also think that you don't necessarily know what your persona is going to be like until after you've done those reps too. So I think a lot of people don't
Mhm.
realize that like your skills are important. Like we talked about earlier, you can learn them from other people, but until you put it into practice, that's really where you concrete it. But then the persona too, I think is what kind of cements more whenever you've done more reps.
Yeah, you find out like what you're comfortable with, what you think you did well, what you didn't do well. This is my second year in my mastermind group,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a school account, and that's like how we communicate and stay in touch with each other. And we do have some homework assignments in there, which I am actually behind on.
Oh no.
But when we started the new calendar year, I don't know, Neil had asked us to share something about ourselves, and I'm like, ooh, I'm going to share the first video I ever shot with this group,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna share like my most recent video, and it was so much better. It's funny because like I thought my first video was actually really done, like really amazing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was like I thought I did, and I did. It was fine, you know what I mean. But I could see how much more comfortable I was and how much more connected I was with the audience on the more recent one for sure.
And a lot of my early videos were heavily scripted, and so I'm just sitting there sounding monotone the whole time. Now it's a lot more natural, as you know, as with your kind of content too. It's much more easier to perform. Like you said, you like talking on camera, and I resonate with that.
Yeah, I felt like I was like I never felt like I had an issue talking in front of a camera, but when I look back or even when I was doing it, if it was scripted at all or like felt too scripted, I felt like I sound like a newscaster. You know what I mean? I mean, it could be worse. I could be like stumbling over my words and stuff, and I'm like, "Oh, that's not me. I don't sound like that when I talk to people." You know what I mean? So, even when I was shooting yesterday, there was a couple things that were a little bit scripted. I just had like I was like, there's, 5 things of whatever it was that I was talking about. And I think one of the longest list was like 7 things. And I kept forgetting the seventh thing or, you know what I mean? Like whatever it was. And so I ended up just like putting a sticky note like right below the camera and like referencing it. Cause I'm like, I don't want to sit here and do this forever. I just want to like nail it and move on. But yeah, anytime you can do a video without a script, it's going to come across so much better.
I also wonder though if you got like the Elgato teleprompter, if that would help you too.
For sure. I'm sure there's plenty of like, even what is it? Descript? Is
Mm-hmm.
that what it's called? Okay, I'm like, what am I forgetting the name of it? Like they'll even like fix your eyes.
Yeah.
So like if you're reading something and it's off on camera, it'll like adjust your iframe, which is kind of nice, because sometimes you just want to get like facts across
Yeah.
and like what the facts are, but when you're talking in front of a camera, it's really easy to forget them because you're trying to be concise and like get it in 30 seconds or 40 seconds. And so unless it's something that you know very, 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 very well, it's going to be a lot harder to do that without like those talking points, and like I know things when I'm talking to a client, but I can do that in 10 minutes versus 30 seconds.
Yeah. Well, and even like with calls like this, I often put like the intro as a script because on Riverside there's a little script function, kind of like a teleprompter at the beginning, just to make sure I'm not looking over here to see it. I just have it right below my camera. It's just one of those small details where it just makes it easier. And
Yeah, absolutely. You don't
it's
want to forget. You don't have to like
yeah.
remember everything all the time.
Well, and it's just one of those things too where it's like it just makes it easier if I can say it from the little bit of space there. You have a lot of
Yeah.
short form content from a lot of different ways. We talked about that earlier. Like you're experimenting a lot. You were talking about nation down, but it seems like you've had a lot of different types of content from exercise to even like the Christo interview thing, micro interview, the family and dog stuff. And so you've tried out a lot of different styles. What kind of style do you think you'll try out next?
Like as far as like how I'm shooting the video?
Or more like the type of content or like what you're actually shooting?
Fair enough. It's a great question. I think, it's funny because we were shooting yesterday and we were in Balboa Park, which is like a beautiful park in San Diego County. And, my my videographer, my friend Sarah, she was like, the backgrounds are just so stunning. Like she just kept getting so like, oh my God, look at this. And I got to film that. And like, it was kind of like the right time. It was like 4:30. So the lighting was really well too, or really good. And I was like, ooh, maybe now would be a good time to make a video about impound accounts, which is like a terribly boring topic. But I just made a joke and I was like, hey, coming from a beautiful location in San Diego County to talk about something really boring, I'm going to explain to you guys impound accounts. And I kind of like thought that would be a fun series just to like have a really cool, beautiful background and talk about something that's like kind of monotonous. And like it's important. People do need to understand what these things are. And it could be a video that I share with clients, right? Like if maybe I haven't gotten to know them well, or they're not as like open to like talking to me on the phone. Sometimes I can just share videos. But also, I just thought it'd be kind of like a funny series because I think what's lacking a little bit in my content is humor.
Mm.
Not that I'm like the funniest person in the world, but I do like to lighten it up a little bit, you know?
And having the contrast of that nice background with the more boring topic is definitely very helpful, I feel like, to keep that attention.
Totally. So yeah, I think highlighting a little bit more of San Diego, I think would be a fun kind of break it up. I need to be a little bit more personal.
Mm-hmm.
When I was doing my own videos, it was easier to do that. Like when I was shooting everything myself. So I just need to hold myself accountable to like schedule that and do it on my own.
Maybe getting like a gimbal too and stuff like that, just to kind of walk with it. I can
Really.
definitely see walking talk videos being good
My
for you.
husband bought me this
Oh, nice.
for Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm like, I've never used it.
Oh, no. You should. Maybe today.
I'm just so used to using my phone. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, I'm like, oh my God, this thing is like so intimidating. There's like, I don't know how to use it. You know?
What if you got like a phone clamp instead of the camera to put the camera there and use the microphone with your phone and just use your phone for it instead?
For sure. I mean, the fact that I even got like a new webcam attached to my laptop today was like, I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't hard at all. At first I was like, this is going to be difficult. And then all you literally do is plug it in and everything's like sunk the way it was supposed to.
Speaking of which, we love talking tech and tools. So what kind of camera did you get?
Ooh, it was free. Where's my box? Sorry. Hold on. I totally forgot. Insta360.
Oh, that's a good brand. Do you know what particular
It's nice.
type?
I got it for free. I was pumped on it.
One with a gimbal or stationary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has a gimbal and it has like AI tracking so you can like move around. So literally, I opened the box like 10 minutes before our call because I was like, oh, I finally have an excuse to use this like now. And yeah, Insta360. And I was watching like the video to make sure that I was like doing it correctly. And it was like, oh, and it can do this and you can shut off the AI tracking by like waving in this. I'm like, this is like super cool. I love that because I could shoot content with this now, you know. My husband and my videographer, I'll call her my social media friend, they have the Osmo.
Mm-hmm. Pocket 3?
I love that thing. What's that?
The Pocket 3?
Yeah, it's just like that small little gimbal camera and it's like way less intimidating, right? She's like, I got this because like people would like freak out when they had like this in their face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she's like, but now I've got this like tiny little camera and it's got like the face tracking and stuff and it's awesome. My husband bought one because he does this he does a cooking show and he's been kind of like taking that kind of more seriously and it's called Rockin' with Ricky and it's more comedy than anything else. I am definitely like the cook in my home, but he thought that, you know, I've been married for 11 years now. We've been together for 16. And so like, you know, over time you learn about each other's like love languages and my love language is acts of service. And so he knew that if he cooked me dinner, like I would be in a good mood, you know? And so he like once a week or every other week, he'll cook dinner and like film it as like an episode. And his tagline is helping couples connect physically through food. So it's very vulgar, hilarious, like dry. My whole family watches it and they're like, I don't even know how you're okay with him talking about all that. I'm like, I just know him and I know what to expect. And you're enjoying the food. So. Yeah, no. So if anyone wants to check out Rockin' with Ricky on YouTube, it's pretty hilarious.
Rockin' with Ricky. Okay. I definitely think that's very sweet. And the idea of also just going back to the Osmo Pocket, one thing that I found was really kind of interesting is that they don't actually have a vertical mode on there. It just kind of crops the horizontal. So if you're ever trying to record, just record in horizontal because that's, no point in doing the vertical. Yeah. You can just crop it later. Yeah, for sure. And I've used his like once, but usually I just am lazy and I have her do it for me. So. Well, and it's definitely gotten really expensive now too, but that camera is really nice. I filmed with it. Yeah.
It did. He was so mad because the tariffs. He was like, I was going to buy one and you told me to wait. And then I don't remember why I told him to wait. I think I was going to get him a discount through my chick because, you know, she has like an account with them. And yeah, then the tariffs hit. So.
Even before the tariffs, it was still like $600. It's crazy to me because it's one of those things.
Totally, but now it's like $900. You know what I mean? Like
it's just ridiculous.
So much worse.
And I've seen some knockoffs, but they're not generally as good. But I definitely think that you have that whole setup already, at least with the regular camera. So hopefully you can start using that or use it in your phone on that. And then other tools, like is there a microphone you use or anything else you're using to create content or any tools, software tools you use?
So when I was like kind of editing my own stuff and like doing my own thing, I definitely used Descript a little bit. I never used the eye tracking thing. I always wanted to kind of like experiment with that. I've dabbled in ManyChat for sure. You know, just getting those like trigger words on Instagram. I'm not getting enough interaction to like warrant it again. I would say I could probably start setting it up soon. But so I think I just like stopped that for a little while just because it was like, it's such a pain to like set something up in there correctly.
Yeah. Not to mention the monthly cost too.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was like what, $10 a month or something, but I'm like, hey, it all adds up. Like if I'm not using it, I'm not going to spend the $10, you know? I think, you know, for mics, I have this one right now. I got this one for free. What is this? Ulanzi. Right?
Ulanzi is a great brand. I like them.
Yeah. So like with my mastermind group, essentially like these brands have sent these things to Neil and then he shares them with us. Which is great. This camera is amazing. I have like, as soon as it turned on, I'm like, oh, that's way better than my laptop camera. Love that. And all my sounds through that camera too. I was going to connect to this. And I was like, oh, there's a speaker. I don't need to do that. But yeah. And you just, even those like little square Ulanzi ones, I feel like that's what everyone uses, you know? I used to have something else and I don't even remember what the brand was, but I feel like everyone uses that same speaker, whether it's in different formats, right? Like I've seen a good friend of mine takes a Ulanzi and like attaches it to like a microphone and then it just looks like a mic. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Just get like a random little stick or something like that.
Yeah, just so you're not like holding this little box in front of someone's face. You know what I mean? Like I was in my Christo interview, but you know, you work with what you got.
And one thing that you and I were messaging back and forth about too is like, you're not necessarily doing the editing yourself right now, but I think that's a good lesson for other people to know. Like if you are too busy or if you are building your business and you're focusing on that, you still want to make the content, you can delegate, you can hire out. So are there any lessons or thoughts that you want to share about that particular topic?
Absolutely. When I was editing my own videos, I was just using Instagram. I mean, I started with CapCut and I would use that sometimes, but I found I'm like, honestly, it just is easier on Instagram. Honestly, I felt like it's just simpler. I mean, you could get like different texts on CapCut, but you never wanted to like overly complicate it, right? Like, honestly, like having all the graphics and all that stuff doesn't really perform as well anymore is what I found. And so like being more simple and like literally just shooting on your freaking iPhone and then like splicing it up and like putting a little bit of music in the background and captions, like that's all you need. Like it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to have, you know, like bells and whistles going off behind your head. You know what I mean? It looks kind of cool for you. You probably appreciate it. But I was just, like I said, using like Instagram and CapCut for that stuff. And then what I found was, you know, you have to understand what your time is worth always. Right. And in my industry, it's ingrained in our brains that, you know, look at what you made last year, right? Divide up your hours by how much you made, right? You could even just do like every hour of the day, right? Except for when you're sleeping. Divide that by what you made. If you can pay someone else less than what it costs you in an hour, then you shouldn't be doing it yourself. It's not worth your time. And so like the thing that's going to make me the most money is not editing my own videos. It's going to be working with my clients and like meeting with people in person and like connecting with them that way. And so I was like, okay, it's time for me to delegate this because it was taking me like probably 30-ish minutes. Like maybe on a good day, I could get it down to 15 if it was like a really simple video, right? But like if I wanted to like splice different things and like have different thing, you know, whatever it was, they could take up to 45 minutes sometimes on one video. And my time is worth way more than it cost me to pay someone else to do that.
Remind you, these are like less than a minute long too.
Yeah. Exactly. And so like, it's just like the same concept of like why people pay someone to clean your house, right? You're going to pay someone 15 to 20 bucks an hour to clean your home. Do you make more than 15 to 20 bucks an hour? Then you need to have someone clean your home, right? And I get it. Not everyone's going to make that much. That's fine, right? You can justify cleaning your own home. But at the end of the day, if you can be more productive and delegate something, then you need to do that for sure.
It's also just kind of for context too. I can't stand editing myself, and I love doing
I don't like it either.
Yeah, I love doing the actual interviews, like sitting here with you, talking, orchestrating the conversation, doing the hosting part of it. Great, love it. The research, love it. The marketing, good at it. Don't care so much about it, but I'll make sure I do a good job. But the editing part of it, it's just one of those things where I procrastinate, don't like doing it. And so I went on like Reddit to try to find some cheaper editors that I could afford. Because even though a lot of this comes out of pocket, I generate some income from content. I'm not always doing a lot. But even for someone like me or someone watching like me, can also go in there, find an editor who may be new and wants to get the experience, and so you can offer a lower amount while they work their way up. And that was sometimes you have to kind of replace them off and on once they want to get more or they get better or something like that. But it's still like it's worth the time to go on Reddit to find them.
Oh, absolutely. And Sarah, who helps me with my social, she's not editing the videos either. She delegates it to her team, and she's got someone in India, you know what I mean, who's doing it. And so like I could go and find this person in India, right? But like what Sarah's offering to me is what the video needs to look like, right? My style, like what she's trying to deliver. I don't even want to think about that. Like I just want to share my message. I want you to tell me how it's best to share that message, right? Like I can come up with the things to say, but when you're splicing it up, like she always makes me look better than I think I sound, essentially. Like right when I get the videos, I'm like, man, you made me look good. Or like, okay, cool. I sound like I know what I'm talking, because I do. I know what I'm talking about, but I found like if someone else is better at it too, like why not? But yeah, again, the biggest things in careers in general is always like try not to do the things that you hate, right? Like it's not going to serve you. You're not going to get better at it. It's going to bring you down. And I also hated editing. I found it to be very tedious. I'm more of like a big picture thinker. And so like when you give me something like, so like to me tedious, like small tasks like that, that's kind of repetitive, I black out.
Well, and even with
Yeah.
these interviews, what gets me through it is you, the guest, right? My like dedication to you as the guest is what gets me through the editing process, and I want to make sure that you sound good. So whenever you sit there, and let's say you take a moment to think about what you're going to say, and that pause seems a little bit off, I might cut out the pause or cut out the ums and uhs just to make sure you sound like more smooth as you're speaking. Because I know what you're saying is great, but I want to make sure you look great as the guest, more than you
Yeah,
already do,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So some more technical questions here too. Kind of curious, how often do you post, and then what are you doing to record? Like, are you recording how much per week? Are you batching, etc.?
Definitely batching. So we have at least 3 reels a week. I want to get it up to 5. I mean, 1 a day would be great. You know what I mean? Some people post like 5 a day. That's not me. Probably won't be me. I think a lot of people underuse stories too. Because you're like,
Agreed.
oh, it's only going to reach people who are following me, but it's a great way to expand. And so my goal is I do the 3 reels a week minimum. I'm trying to add more to that, my own. Like again, I want to get up to 5, and then definitely sharing a story every day. I think that's pretty critical. Don't get me wrong, there are days that I miss it, but like I think that's super important to like have at least 1 or 2 stories every single day. That's easy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like for me, if I work out of the gym with a trainer 3 days a week, that's easy content. Yeah, just set it up, forget about it, take that, post it later, make fun of yourself for falling on your face, whatever it is, you know? And honestly, my workout videos do really well. Like that's probably one of my higher performing things in general. So
And as
go
someone
to a
who's worked in the
concert.
fitness industry, I always appreciate seeing workout people. So
Yeah, I love it. I love seeing people who have like just started their journeys too. Like, oh, I love that stuff, man. I love supporting them because people like hate on them so hard on the internet. And I'm like, they're like, I'm morbidly obese and like, I'm trying and, and I'm like, fuck those
yeah,
people. You know what I
you're
mean?
badass,
Like you're
dude.
trying. It's way
Yeah.
harder for you than it is for me. You know what I mean? To get up and do it. Like I love those journeys. I find myself following those kinds of accounts all the time because it keeps me motivated because I'm like, if they
Yeah.
can do it, I can definitely do it, you know?
A lot of people kind of have this fear of the gym, like, oh, these people are going to make fun of me or something like that. It's only people online that really make fun of you. The gym bros will be like supporting you. They're like, oh my gosh, you're doing great. Like, keep it up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I'm honest, I have a hard time like motivating myself I'm getting better, right? But I work out with a trainer so that I can hold myself accountable. Not everyone can afford that, right? But it's like group classes or things like that. Like I've introduced like Pilates and like that's something where I can just like show up, someone's going to teach me, I'm going to do what they tell me to do. I'm
Yeah.
also super competitive. So if I'm in an environment where like someone could outperform me, I'm going to push myself that much harder to make sure that I'm like keeping up and like doing at least the bare minimum or like a little bit more. It's not that I want to beat them. I just want to make sure that I'm doing as much as they are,
Yeah.
you know? And so, and Chris and I talked about this in my interview is if you're not showing up for yourself every day, you're whatever you're sharing, whatever you're trying to preach, it's not going to land.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you've got to be able to take care of yourself, like body, mind, soul, all of it, to be able to authentically represent yourself on the internet. And I think people see through that for sure. Right. And I'm not saying that, like you have to be fit to like share your story.
Yeah.
Right. But I think it's important for people to like understand that we are all struggling with whatever it is. Right. Like I've got 2 kids.
Yeah.
I'm, work full time, like the balance of being a mom and having the earning potential that I have is like, it's a lot of pressure, right? And so like being able to like share that story and be like, okay, I'm really good at what I do. I'm good at my job, but like I'm also human. And like I struggle with like all of these things just like you do. I think that's super critical when you're sharing content.
Does your competitiveness kind of kick in with content too, or is it just in the gym?
I think I try to give myself grace
Mm,
if I know I'm not that I'm not good at content, but like a little bit. Yeah, it does. I mean, I think that's why I do good with the homework, right? So like in my group, if they're like, we're doing homework this week and everyone's done it but me, I'm like,
mhm.
I'm letting myself down
Yeah,
here. You know what I mean? I can't fall behind. But if I fall behind, I have a hard time like getting myself motivated to catch back up because it feels like you just need to do all of it, right?
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think I give myself a little bit of grace on the social piece of it because I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to share my content. I'm going to share my value. I'm not expecting to get a million followers today or tomorrow or in the next few
Overnight.
years, right?
Yeah.
And maybe never. I mean, that would be cool. That would be great, right? But at the same time, I'm being authentic and I'm sharing information. And if it helps past clients, current clients, and agents, then I've succeeded.
My brain keeps trying to like wrap around like what is next for you too, because you started off with short form, you're trying to go into long form, like with like webinars and YouTube videos. I'm almost wondering too, like maybe live streams or even doing, like I said, the written content, maybe just doing like transcription of what you're talking about and turning that into a blog post too. Some people do that methodology, and I'm just trying to, or maybe just you go straight into the audio too. I don't know. My brain just keeps wrapping around that.
No, I love that you're thinking like that because I'm not always. I think if I could set a goal for like my like ultimate thing I would love to accomplish, I would love to build a platform similar to something like a Dave Ramsey. What I love about Dave is that he has helped a ton of people get out of debt. So many people, right? And that's like something to be like applauded for sure. What I don't love about Dave is that he's focused on getting them out of debt. He's not focused on helping them build wealth.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, there's other platforms and stuff like that out there, but I feel like there's kind of a bigger hole there, right? Like where like you get that big following of like, okay, these are your courses and this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to do it, right? You can see like that on a smaller scale, but people like Cody Gibson, right? Like she's sharing how to scale, small businesses and stuff and I think she's growing that even more, right?
Mhm.
And for someone like me who kind of already understands that, I get her content. But for someone who like doesn't understand any of that, I think her content's probably really overwhelming, right? And it's simple in the sense of like, hey, these are the businesses you should focus on. But
Yeah.
like someone who's never owned a business or doesn't understand the structure of a business or anything, they're like, where the hell do I start? Right. And I think she's starting to monetize that now, right? She's got, I'm forgetting what the name of it is, but where you can go and buy businesses. She's got a platform for that. I'm totally forgetting the name of it. And that's amazing because she's been able to like bring something to the table that people previously didn't have access to, like, normal people like you or I. But yeah, I mean, I think being able to like teach financial literacy is kind of my ultimate dream
Yeah.
because doing mortgages is a great way to teach financial literacy. But what is really troubling about it is that I can share all my wealth of knowledge, give everyone all the tools that they need to like get the best rate, get the best loan product, do all the things they need to do to borrow the best loan possible for them. And they leave me over 0.1% on interest rate. And I made nothing.
Mm.
Right. And it's not about making the money, right? Like I love the helping, but when you've gotten through pouring yourself into somebody like that, and then they just leave, it feels horrible. You're like,
Yeah.
wow, you just didn't see my value at all. Like you completely took advantage of me. And it feels like a cheating spouse is
Yeah.
what it feels like.
That just seem really rough. Almost wonder if like there's a way for you to do video calls of like talking to clients if they agree to it. Maybe you can give them a discount on the actual meeting or something like that because you're recording it. Kind of like how Dave Ramsey does some of his stuff. I met him last year actually at one of the conferences I went to, and because he was about to go to the keynote, I said hi to him. But you're talking about
Yeah.
meeting one of your heroes, and I got to meet Pat Flynn last year. That was really interesting. That was one of my heroes.
Oh, I did too.
Yeah, really? Where did you meet him at?
Yeah. At one of my forward events, actually. So wait, now I'm like, hold on.
I love
I'm
Pat.
making
He's
sure
such
we're
a
talking
genuine person too. Like even in real life, he was the
Pokemon
same
guy,
way.
right?
Huh?
Pokemon guy, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I like
I
want
was
to make
thinking
sure
smart
we're
passive income guy, but yes.
I know. Sorry. Okay. So yeah. So in my mastermind group, they brought him in as a speaker for like one of our meetups. So it was just like 80 of us in a room.
Mm-hmm.
He lives in San Diego. And he's really good friends with one of my friends. It's like who's in the mastermind group. And so I'll be honest, I did not know who he was when I met him. But yeah, so he came on and talked to us in our intimate group, and then at the end of his talk, they were like, "Okay, does anyone want to come on stage and ask Pat some questions?" And I volunteered, and I asked him some follow-up questions, and we got like some great B-roll of like me interviewing him on stage.
Did you post it?
On stage, it was just 80 of us, but yeah, he was super nice, like super cool, super down to earth, like. And, realistically, we were talking about like building a community like he has, right? Like he has 2 channels that are like, what, over 2 million followers each?
Well, and he started out with his whole smart passive income like brand and podcasting, and like he has like a podcasting company, I think, something like that too. And so he started out doing the blog and all that before he even touched the whole Pokemon card stuff. And the Pokemon card stuff has blown up, like you said, quite a bit just in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I'm like the Pokemon guy, right? No, he was amazing, and he gave us so much like good nuggets of like, it at the end of the day, like if you really want to oversimplify everything that we're talking about here, it's like what's going to make you unique, what's going to help you be memorable, and what's going to be, as long as you're authentic, like you'll build a community essentially, right? And being consistent. Like I feel like you can really just like narrow it down to those 4 things. Do you know who Johnny Cupcakes is? He owns the t-shirt company.
I feel like that sounds familiar, but it's not coming to mind.
You'd probably recognize his brand if you saw it. But he's come and spoke a couple times, and I have an interview with him. We just haven't posted it yet. But he's always been really approachable, just like Christo is. And his whole thing was like, he created an insane t-shirt brand by just being different. Right. And so like, like you can buy a t-shirt anywhere, right? Yeah. Like, and at the end of the day, it was his presentation of purchasing those shirts that made it like an experience and like a memorable fan base. And so what he would do is like, everyone would think it'd be like a cupcake shop, right? So he would like create the whole storefront to look like a bakery. You would walk in and there's like vanilla air fresheners, like rubbed all over the walls so that it smells like vanilla icing. You know what I mean? And then when you get your shirt, they open like this oven and like, smoke comes out or fog comes out, and then they give you your shirt in like a little to-go box. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it was very like an experience. And so he has come and talked about that a lot, like how to be memorable and how to kind of like set yourself apart. So
well, yeah, I love that.
Great mastermind group. Apparently, we have a lot of
small world though. I didn't really like. I wanted to bring him up because you were talking about meeting your hero, and I got to meet him last year. And I said I just wanted to share that experience with you. I didn't know you met him too, though. That's amazing. And you were talking about something serious though, like the whole like, you help the client and then they end up moving to someone else. I didn't want to like detract from that important statement there too. But what I like to ask is, what do you have coming down the line that you're looking most forward to?
I'm looking forward to just being consistent. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm finally at that phase where I'm like doing this regularly and it's just part of my career now. And like, I want to see how that grows. You know what I mean? Like, again, if I'm able to grow enough to where I feel like, okay, there's enough people who like want to hear what I have to say or appreciate where I'm coming from, I really want to grow that community. Right. And I do want to kind of have another, like, for lack of a better term, like a Dave Ramsey community where, again, he does a great job helping people pay off debt, but he doesn't believe in debt. And that's fine. I get it. I don't believe in credit card debt either. I don't believe in car debt, any of those things. I do believe in leverage though. And, he's been asked the question of like, if someone gave you $1 million with no interest, would you take it? And he says, no. I'm like, come on, Dave. There's no interest. Like there's no downside. You borrow the money, you pay it back, but now you get to leverage $1 million. Just go put it in the S&P 500. You'll make a ton of cash, pay them back and be done with it, Yeah. And so like, I think that's like I love that he like sticks to it because it really helps his following, like buckle down and like do what they need to do. But I want to take like the next individual that's like maybe a little bit more educated or maybe a little bit more moldable, like right above that. And I want to take them to the next level. So I'm hoping that I'm able to like reach that audience and help them grow financially and have some stability.
And I definitely think there could be a lot of video potential there too, like you're saying.
Yeah, the topics are so broad. Like I do mortgages, right? Like that's where it starts for me. But it doesn't end there. I
Yeah.
own multiple houses. I'm a landlord. I have a really great performing stock portfolio that my husband manages for us. I'm a mom. I own a business. Like I've done a lot of those things. So like when it comes down to like, I've done it. You know what I mean? So I've renovated properties. I've, invested in those things. So when clients come to me and they're like, well, what do I do if this happens? I'm like, oh, I probably have an answer for you because I've done it.
You're multifaceted.
So yeah, it's like when you hire a real estate agent and they don't own real estate. It's like, I think that's stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an exception to that, I guess. Like everyone's going to start somewhere. I understand that. But if it comes down between you and someone else and this person owns real estate and has bought and sold multiple properties, like I'm going to go with the person who owns real estate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
As you should.
And it's like trying to take advice from a content creator who's not making content, right?
Right.
That makes sense.
Like, how do you know? Like, what do you know what's performing? You're not trying things out. You're not experimenting with it, and, I'm just going to push this in there really quick because this is something that we have found and I've been seeing a lot of, and I don't know if you've talked about this or not yet, but the meta glasses.
Yeah.
I need to get some of those.
No.
Because
I'm going to interject.
No, listen. Okay. Hold on. The performance of those videos is far superior to anything else that we've been putting out.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't want to wear them. You know what I mean? But like what I've noticed, like you see like the little like glass icon on the people who have them. So like my social media chick, she was like, dude, she's like, it's because it's freaking meta, right? And like they all want meta, whatever, you know what I mean? So it's all within the same space.
Yeah.
She's like, dude, my videos, like on my stories would normally get like, I don't know, maybe 500, 600 views. She got 3,000 views on her first meta video that she posted.
I had a friend of mine take hers to a Beyonce concert, actually a guest on his show, and got a ton of views from that too. I think that's great. And it's also, like you said, the meta ecosystem. That is something I was not thinking.
They're definitely like forcing you to want it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
The thing I was trying to interject with was there's actually better glasses. Look Tech is one of the main brands I look at. There's also Lumos. And so Look Tech, Lumos is LOOMOS. Yeah. And so there's a couple different brands out there that have higher quality cameras, and they have ChatGPT versus Meta AI. So it's actually just better product.
Yeah, Meta AI sucks.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But that's why I was so excited when you said that. I was like, oh, wait, there's better glasses out there. But you make a very good point. When like Meta's trying to push videos from the Meta glasses, they'll give you that extra boost, and that's actually a very interesting.
I literally just learned this yesterday. I was like, oh, we should definitely talk about that for a second because like that's crazy. I mean, they're forcing it, right? Like it's like, okay, well, you have Meta glasses, so we're gonna like highlight your stuff. Right. And I get it. Like the point of view shots are kind of cool. Like I could understand like just from a consumer perspective, how like that's like a nice thing to see. Like when you're scrolling, you might stop for those things. But yeah, I don't know. It's just them controlling us a little bit more. You know what I mean? She was like, 3,000. She's like, like what like that's not even close to. And she was like, it was a dumb video of me like going through the airport. It wasn't like anything crazy.
I also wonder if like point of view interviews would be an interesting idea. Like just going to a conference and interviewing people using those glasses or Look Tech glasses or whatever.
Totally.
You mentioned CapCut earlier, by the way, and I was going to mention Edits by Instagram is out now, and that might be worth playing around with because I think there is a slight boost when you edit a video in Edits and put it to Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone really needs CapCut. I think Instagram does what it needs to do, and like I said, the less editing you've done, the better it's going to be. But I agree. Like I was noticing that too. Like if I was editing a video in Instagram, it usually performed a little bit better than if I had done it in CapCut. And we were talking about tools, and I wanted to just mention too, like obviously we're all using it. Hopefully we're all using AI a little bit, right? But I have found Claude to be a little bit better than, like ChatGPT and those things, like at least for me, like in like what I'm trying to accomplish. I did catch a couple of mistakes in it the other day though, but that was fine.
Claude's really good with coding from what I heard.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just about finding like which AI thing speaks better for you, and using Google AI for like
Gemini.
Yeah, sorry, I'm forgetting everyone's names right now, but I'm like, we know what it is.
Yeah.
Like the AI studio, right? So that you can kind of like record your day-to-day stuff, right? And kind of get an idea of like what you're trying to build. I just learned that you could do like just make apps in there.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to make like a mortgage calculator app for my client, I could just be like, can you create me a mortgage calculator app with like this color and blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, Oh, cool. Wow. And I could even integrate for me, you have to get mortgage insurance if you don't put 20% down on conventional. And like that piece can be different for every person.
Mm,
I can now create that app in there and ask it to integrate within, like I can choose like one of the mortgage insurance companies and have it integrate their calculator in there so that it can calculate the mortgage insurance accurately. Because it really depends on what your FICO score is, how much you're putting down, what type of property you're purchasing. And because sending payment scenarios, I don't mind doing it, but it's time consuming. And if someone can do it themselves real quick on a calculator, like
yeah.
great.
And so I was mentioning the Instagram Edits app as a separate thing to help boost things. There's also like the issue with CapCut. You were mentioning coding too, like Claude. People are vibe coding in Claude in order to make those apps. And what you just said there, the whole calculator is brilliant. That's a great way to like maybe integrate into your website and get more traffic that way, that kind of thing.
It's crazy. Oh, and Whisper Flow. Sorry, I was trying to remember the name of all these things that I started using.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, Cody talked about that at Forward. So Whisper Flow. So in my world, we're always just trying to figure out like what's going to like shave time off of our day, whatever it is. And so what I love about it is like it integrates with your speech when you're like speech to text. And so like, what's annoying about speech to text is you're like, okay, I'll be there at 2, period. And then you have to like insert all of the, pieces of it, and Whisper Sync will take care of all of that. So you can literally just talk to it and it'll like translate it the way that it needs to be, so that you can save time, because it actually is a lot faster to say it than it is to type it out,
Yeah.
So, I know some of these tools might not be for like content creation, but it is more about maximizing your time, which will allow you to create more content.
And I think a lot of people don't realize like AI can be a great use for that. There's also knowledge management tools. I'm not sure if you use Notion or what you use to organize your life. Is there a particular tool?
I've heard of Notion for sure. Just to kind of like get some like SOPs and stuff ready. For me, there's a lot of things that I'm doing the same way every day, and I have not personally created a lot of them. Notion's something that I actually have on my list to kind of like integrate into my business. Most of the time, like I'm just using things like Calendly, and I have an assistant that helps me with some stuff as well. But my goal would be to automate a lot of things so that my assistant can help me a little bit more with the content creation. Because even though I have a social media person, if I'm shooting my own stuff, I can have him edit it and him post it so that I'm not spending the time to do it. So the more efficient I can make my business, the more time I will have for creation and posting and videos and live streams, whatever it is, right? I also think that at the end of the day, like whatever tools are going to help you become more creative or more, oh, that's what it was. So whatever tools are going to help you become more creative or more efficient, use them, right? And like sometimes taking the time to like build out the systems is going to be a little rough, but it will help you become and grow more later, right? So there's this girl, her name's Lauren Lucas. She is a real estate agent out of Ohio, not a tech person at all. She actually created this like amazing AI powered CRM. And she kind of just travels the country right now, like all of a sudden, like teaching about AI tools. And, the average person knows a little bit about AI, but they don't know a lot. And so she was actually the one that kind of like introduced me to like AI Studio and like the application process. And like, you could literally tell it to do anything you want, right?
Yes.
And like people are like, oh, what do you mean? Okay, cool. It's anything. And like really the sky is the limit. But like I was creating videos with like call to actions the other day, right? Like I'm like, okay, I want you to, if you want to hear more about this or you want to connect, whatever it is, or you want my guide, right? Like I think a lot of the times too, this is kind of a side note, but when you want clients to engage with or people to engage with you online, you want to make it easy for them, right? You don't want them to like DM you because they're not going to do that. They're likely not going to go like you or follow you as much, right? You want it to make it simple. So I'm giving you knowledge for free. If you want this knowledge, comment whatever the word is below and I'll send you my guide, right? It's like kind of the thing that performs the best. And so I'm like, I don't want to sit around and like make all these guides. It's like basic stuff, but it's going to take a long time. Claude, I need your help. Like, can you tell me all the reasons why reverse mortgages are not bad, right? I know what they are, but I don't want to like sit down and like dumb it down for each person. So I was able to like go in there and I created like 5 or 6 guides, like what happens when you need a divorce and you like have to refinance your mortgage? Like, what do you do? Right. So I had Claude create those guides for me and I went through and, helped it edit it a little bit, added some things in, whatever it was. But if we're not using AI to help us with like that kind of a thing where it's like, you're not taking out your authenticity here. We're not telling your story through AI. We're just taking bullet point items that you probably would have copy pasted from a website somewhere anyway and put it into a short form
Accelerating
that's a little bit
things.
more relatable. Yeah, like with your voice, you know? So yeah, I think just understanding that like when you're educating somebody, if there is an AI tool that you can use to help you reach more people, use it. Just
Exactly.
use it.
Well, and you mentioned the CRM from the other person. I actually created my own CRM in Notion for all the guests on my shows because I wanted to keep track of each guest and keep track of the information and questions and have I contacted them or not, that kind of thing. And that was one thing that
Totally.
was really helpful, and that could probably be helpful for a lot of people listening in too.
Well, and I guess to even say CRM, a lot of people probably don't even know what that is. It's funny. Was it contact resource management? Is that what it stands for?
Customer response manager is sometimes what I heard about.
Customer response
Yeah,
manager. It's
something like
so funny
that.
because to me it always just means CRM. I'm
Yeah,
like, I actually don't remember what the acronym
something like
stands
that.
for. Then in my industry, you always have a CRM. There's no question,
Yeah.
right? Like it's you live in that, live and breathe in that. And there's different options, right? In my world, a lot of people use like Salesforce or Django or Follow Up Monkey, whatever. We have an internal one, or Total Expert's a really good one too. But my company created one in-house. It's kind of like a platform over Salesforce, but it is so freaking complicated. I'm like, you guys, like, we gotta like simplify this a little bit. Like, I'm smart. I know how to use these things, and I cannot find anything in here almost always. Like, I just have to search for things. But what's cool about the CRMs is like the good ones can automate a lot of your responses, right? And so what Lauren did was she created a simpler CRM, which I'm probably going to be signing up for soon. And again, all your contacts are in there, right? You've got task management. For me right now, the things that I have automated is it's going to automatically tell me when I'm a week out from a closing, like it's been a week since we closed, 30 days since we closed, 6 months since we've closed, a year out, and then every year after that, right? So that I'm keeping in touch with those clients.
Yeah.
That's important. I need to be able to be in front of them all the time, right? It's also telling me when someone's birthday. It's telling me if someone pulled their credit to apply for a mortgage. It's telling me if they listed their home for sale. It's telling me if they ordered a loan payoff. It's doing all these things. It's also automating emails.
Mm-hmm.
So I can create a campaign within there that says, okay, when I put someone in here and I register them as this type of a lead, send them this email. And then in 3 days, send them this. And if you don't hear back from them, send them this text message. And then you can just automate all of that, right? And so what I don't love about my CRM that I have right now is that I've got to build all those prompts within the CRM that Lauren has built. You just tell it what you want and it builds it for you. So I can just say, I want you to, based on what you think is going to be best, I want to make sure that I'm touching this person within this amount of time. Text usually performs better. You're giving it all the right prompts. Build a campaign that follows up with them for the next 6 months. That's not going to either freak them out, stress them out, but also keep them engaged and like want them to respond. And then it'll be like, okay, do you want to include video? And I'm like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. Let me know when you think I should include video, or when it should be text message, or when it should be email, or maybe a phone call, right? And so at that point, then it dings me and says, hey, call this person today.
I think
that is like a tool.
I think a lot of content creators would benefit from understanding the business aspect behind this too, because when you are running a business, when you're making content, you are making a content business in a way. If you're going to be successful at it, whether it's a digital product or a community or something like that, you want to make sure you're keeping the customer engaged into your content ecosystem.
Totally fair. And I think I operate at the assumption like everyone already knows this stuff. They don't, right? And so if you're just starting in building a business and you're starting with content creation, that's awesome. But at the end of the day, the only way to like convert those clients is to keep in touch with them. Yeah. Right. And so, even when you hit me up about the podcast and I'm like, I just need to say yes to more things. You know what I mean? And so I had to pin your message in my DMs because I was like, I don't want to forget this. Right. And if it's not in my CRM, I'm going to forget about it. And so I pinned it and then emailed myself to like make sure that I like followed back up with you because I'm like not great about not that I'm not good about responding on Instagram, but like not good at having like business conversations on Instagram. And so like the CRM helps you just stay organized. It helps you understand like where you're at. You put someone in there and you say, okay, I touched base with them on this day. I expect them to be converted into whatever type of lead it is, right? Maybe you're a content creator for, I don't know, it doesn't matter, right? Like I share restaurant reviews. Cool. You want this person to sign up for your newsletter, right? They DM'd you, said that they like your content. you created some type of auto response through ManyChat that says, I'm so glad you're here, or you just responded to them yourself and said, I'm so glad you're here. I would love to stay connected with you. Can I get your email? Whatever it is, like
Yeah.
you're building the prompts to like engage with them. And at some point you get them into your CRM and then you continue to market to them. Right. And it doesn't need to be like pushy. It can be really simple, but you're going to want to bring them something of value. You definitely shouldn't be leading with like, sign up for this subscription today for $2.99. Like no one's going to do that. You need to give them free shit, and it needs to be funny, and it needs to be fun, and it needs to be something that they want. Right. And so if you're, again, I'm just using this as an example.
Yeah.
You're a food critic, or you share restaurants that you want to go to in different cities, which is like probably my dream job. Honestly, I should probably just do that because I would love that.
Switch over to food content.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I know there's so much of it out there, but like my favorite thing in the world is to cook someone an amazing meal that they love, or take them to a restaurant and have them try food that they've never had and just absolutely love it. That is like, that really fills my cup.
Sounds like you're gonna make another channel at some point.
I've been like thinking about it. I have been throwing that idea around, but I'm like, let me just get good at this first. But yeah, I mean, if you're engaging with these people through the CRM, like you're not going to get very far just like sending DMs back and forth. You've got to be able to like put them into a system and establish some type of follow up with them. And it doesn't have to be automated even. You can just say, I've put in John Smith into my database today. I met them today. This is how I met them. Put the notes in there. And then you assign another task. Okay, let me follow up with them in 3 days. And then you're logging into your CRM every single day to know what your tasks are. If you can start to automate those tasks, it'll just run for you, right? But if you're just starting to understand like how to engage with these people and understand like how to keep them around, then you just do it manually yourself, right? Kind of play with it. Like, oh, I'm going to text him, or I'm going to call them, or I'm going to shoot them an email with like these like restaurants that they should go to, or where are you from? Oh, I've been there. Have you tried this place? Whatever it is, right? Like you've got to be able to like create content within just email.
Yeah.
Like email was dead for a long time. It's kind of come back.
So a lot of people
actually
said it wasn't dead. Like a lot of people say it's been great the whole time, but people just finally realized it again too. Especially with Substack, that was a big deal.
Yeah. And like, it also depends on like how you're building those emails, right? Like if you got a bunch of like images and stuff, like all that stuff goes to spam.
Yeah.
Like you got to keep them really simple. Alex Hermosi shared an email template with us for like in our group, and it was like so basic. He's like, don't overcomplicate it. I'm like, that makes sense. Like, just like start here, have this hook. Here's your baseline. Make it no more than 2 sentences. Mm-hmm. Restate your hook. That's it. You know what I mean? And it would, might have been a little bit different than that, but I was just trying to remember it off the top of my head. So I copy pasted it. I'm like, okay, if I create a newsletter, which is on my list, this is how I'm going to do it.
So, have you read much of Gary Vee's books?
I'm not much of a like self-help reader person.
He's pretty.
I have all his books.
Okay, he's pretty like concrete in a lot of ways too. Like his jab right hook is a really good one. I was going to recommend.
Yeah, I have that book. It's funny because I just read a lot of fiction. That's just like what I live in. But I've listened to him so many times. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like a lot of what he said, I've heard in voice form. Whether it's a podcast or an interview or in person or whatever it is, but. I love how direct he is. You know what I mean? I think everyone actually knows Gary Vee to some degree, right? Yeah. Out of all the people, I feel like he's probably the most recognizable, and like maybe Alex Hermosi is like kind of behind him a little bit.
I definitely agree. And the idea of like emails too, something I was going to mention is like when I did my intro emails with guests like you, I would be like, hey, welcome to the show, Amanda. And I would do an exclamation point. And for some reason, in the subject line, for some reason, that exclamation point would put me in spam, despite the fact all I'm doing is just messaging a person who I've talked to specifically. I'm not actually.
At least you figured that out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and then like I got rid of that. And then I also try to make sure it's not too many links in the email too. Like I have the link to the meeting, and I usually have like maybe my channel or my website or something like that. But it's definitely things like those things you learn over time too.
Totally. And your open rate, right? Like a lot of people don't mess around with like subject line titles to like get an idea of like open rates, and like, oh, let me try half my database with this subject line. Let me try the other half with this and see which one performs better. That's like a whole other rabbit hole, beast, if you will. But like if you can get really good at it, it really does make a huge difference on like, open rate matters. That's who you're engaging with. If you want them to read it, they need to open it first. So,
and something that kept making me think of, you mentioned like newsletters too, and maybe you don't make a newsletter for mortgages. Maybe you make a newsletter for food critics or something like that. And I just made a post this week about comparing all the newsletter platforms. So I use like Ghost and Substack myself, and I compared all the other ones. And you would probably actually really like that. I should send it to you after this call. But like Ghost CMS is what I use for most of my websites. But then I have been on Substack recently because there's a network effect on there and stuff like that. But you could also post video posts on there, and you take that video and it automatically posts to YouTube for you. It automatically posts to the podcast platforms for you through Substack. And it's things like that you just learn after making it content for so long.
And I don't use it, but my social team uses Repurpose for that too. I don't
Repurpose.io?
know if I love it. What's that?
Repurpose.io?
Yes.
I used to work with them. Hanny Moore is a great founder, and the tool is probably one of the more powerful ones in the market. But I actually call it kind of the godfather of repurposing tools because it was basically the first one out there. Nowadays, I use Newlink, Nuelink, much more powerful automations, I would say. That's what I use to like syndicate all my content everywhere. When I post a short form video, it goes to TikTok, Instagram, Facebook Reels, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, YouTube, and Pinterest. Yeah. And then same for
see, like the problem with Repurpose is like it almost never works with Facebook for whatever reason. Yeah. Like it just doesn't connect, which is super annoying. So I'm like, we're missing half the audience essentially. And then the videos, when they go to TikTok, like none of the links are included. So like that Christo video did shit on TikTok because he wasn't tagged in it. And when I went back to tag him in it, TikTok wouldn't let me. They're like, oh, you can't change this video. Not because like I did it. They're like, we reviewed it and this doesn't like work within our guidelines.
Maybe you should repost
I'm like, I'm literally tagging the name that's already in there.
Yeah. So
and so that video didn't on TikTok at all. No, you're good.
I didn't mean to interrupt. The delay is a little bit weird. But essentially, my issue with Repurpose, and I don't want to get on a soapbox today, but I had used them for a while, and this is back before YouTube allowed their API to allow you to download videos. So what was suggested is that you can post to Facebook first, and then you can download and make clips, because this is before Opus Clip, before all these other clipping tools came out of the market. And so I wanted to make clips for my podcasts. Ironically, I never ended up getting around to it because it was still manual. But I would post to Facebook, and then with the automation on Repurpose would go to YouTube. But half the time it would either be really low resolution or it would just take a really long time to post onto there. And at one point I was posting so often, there was this issue where I guess the servers got overloaded. And so for about like 12 or 20 videos, it basically sent over to YouTube at 240p or 144p resolution. So instead of 1080p full resolution, it was a quarter of that, a tenth of that. And so I actually had to repost 30 gigs worth of videos over the course of a weekend because I messed. And that was like, that's when I left Repurpose.io.
Yeah, no, I think she's trying to find a better tool. She's just kind of like, I can't take all my clients over because it'll be too much of a mess. I gotta try like on a few. She might even be trying Newlink. She might have mentioned that to me, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, I have an assistant. So I told her, I was like, well, how about we just, you post, your team posts, because I get it. It takes time. It's a time thing. I'm like, but if you just share the video with us, I can have my team post it because I'm not going to do it. Right. But like, at least it needs to be shared everywhere. Like there's no reason for it to not be on every platform.
Is there anything you're dealing with right now that I might be able to help you with or give you a solution for or something like that?
I think realistically, that's like probably my biggest qualm is, like I want my videos to be shared on every platform. I don't think we're posting on YouTube at all. Or LinkedIn. I think we're just focused on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
I wonder if YouTube might be a big audience for you too. I'm not sure if you would want to make a new channel for it or just go through the mortgage one, but movement mortgage, but maybe that's something you could think about. Like you could even make a personal brand channel too.
Yeah, I mean, my channels are not, or my pages are not branded Movement Mortgage, which is like the company that I work at. You know what I mean? It's more just focused on like wealth building and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I honestly, I just never thought my videos would perform well on YouTube because they're short form, but like I'm realizing that that's still okay on YouTube, Yeah.
Most of my views are from short form.
Yeah. So I just like in my mind, YouTube is long form. Like I don't know why. But like, Yeah, that's just, I just need to make sure that I can like automate that a little bit more. You know what I mean? And get that. So New Link, it sounds like, is
Yeah.
what I need to check out.
I definitely like this little tangent we had here because that's the whole point of the show. Talking tools, talking shop. That's literally why I made this show in the first place. My other interview show is talking to multifaceted people, and a lot of the time they would be creators, which is how I found them. So like a quarter of the conversation would be a content creation. And I was like, I want to do more of that and talk to other people who are in this kind of field. And so I appreciate you talking shop with me, Amanda.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Where can people find you if they want to learn more about you and what you do?
Instagram's probably the easiest way to find me, Amanda Silber. I have 3 A's at the end of my name just to make it confusing for everybody. But yeah, if you just Google Amanda Silber mortgage lender, you'll find me online. You can see some of my reviews or my content on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, as we talked about. But really, like, my goal is to just provide education and help people build wealth. So if it's something that you think I could help you with, never hesitate to reach out, because I'm an open book and always happy to connect with new people.
And don't worry, I got links down below for you so people can just click that, make it a lot easier. And so once again, this is Amanda Silber and Dustin PolyInnovator on the Poly Tools Creator Spotlight. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Dustin. Appreciate you.